Hello and welcome to another crafty update. Thank you for joining me. In this update I will be chatting about all the art and craft things that I've been up to over the last few weeks, and there'll be a little bit about my life's journey as well. If you want to skip over anything, you can. You can go to the video description and you'll see the timestamps or chapters, and you can select which bit you'd like to watch. I'm not going to be offended if you don't want to watch a particular bit or are not interested in one thing. You're here and I don't do this clickbait thing. Ugh, no. So anyway, I have mostly been up to arty things over the last few weeks. I have been really trying to get to grips with my sketchbooks. I'll talk more about those shortly, but I have also done a few craft projects because I've been trying to stack up a couple of craft tutorials so that if I do become unwell again, then I've got something in reserve and I haven't got to worry. So I have mostly been housebound over the last few weeks. There have been a couple of trips to the hospital, which I will talk about at the end of the video. There's been a brief visit to the garden centre, and that's pretty much it. Oh, wait, no, there's been a couple of walks. Of little walks through the woods, and that was at the beginning of the fortnight. I was wanting to I wanted to go for a walk in the woods anyway, but whilst I was there I wanted to find some mushrooms or toadstools, because after completing page 1 in my new sketchbook I was really struggling to figure out what to draw. And I thought that if I could find a nice collection of mushrooms or toadstools in the woodland, that would be really nice to draw. We did find some mushrooms, but they weren't anything special. So I haven't drawn those, and it took, oh my goodness, it took 7 days before I attempted the second page in my sketchbook because I was procrastinating so much over it. I didn't know what to draw, and I didn't feel like I could do anything very good because I didn't have the proper drawing pencils. And then I realised I was using that as an excuse, because you can still create art if you don't have a drawing pencil, but I just didn't know what to draw, so I was procrastinating so much. So aimlessly I completed pages 2 and 3 with some particularly bad sketches, bad by my expectations anyway. I was using felt tips and the mechanical pencil, and I'm sure that there are lots of people out there like me that want to be creative but just don't know where to start. Maybe, like me, life has taken a different turn due to circumstance, health. Well, life changes, doesn't it? Things happen and we take a different direction. And so now there's me with a few dodgy art supplies and a desire to be creative, but just not having a clue where to start. So that's why I got the sketchbooks, and that's why I'm doing the craft challenges, just to explore new things really. Because if we don't try, how will we ever know? After completing pages 2 and 3, I was feeling a little bit disillusioned because, everyone wants to draw something nice to feel proud of, don't they? Anyway, because I was struggling with what to draw, I decided I was going to write at the top of every page an art prompt. So I became aware of art prompts because various artists and creators on Instagram do kind of monthly challenges from time to time with different art prompts, and I thought, well, actually that is a really good idea because it kind of tells you what to do. You don't have to think about it, you don't have to worry about what to draw, just put some art prompts on the page and half the problem then is solved. That is the problem of what to draw. So yes, I've put an art prompt at the top of most of the pages in the sketchbook. I've still got a few left to pop in, but a lot of them are literary themed because, novella, I'm all about books, so I thought I would put in some art prompts from my favourite authors and my favourite books and my favourite characters. So then it kind of extended itself to me writing up some names of some TV shows that I like or some films that I've loved over the years, and I did put in some just regular kind of art prompts as well, kind of mix it up a bit so it wasn't just all going to be pictures of people, because even though I like drawing people, I know I'm not very good at it yet, so I know I need to push myself a bit more. Anyway, I have tried since to do one page in my sketchbook every single day, and not all of them have been successful, but I'm not going to hide my failures, as this is my true journey in this sketchbook, and hopefully I will improve. So I love the composition and the style of these two. The art prompts were Dickens and Tessa the D'Urbervilles. I thought I might consider doing both of these on canvas at some point in the future. The painting in the sketchbook is a bit sketchy, but I figure that's what sketchbooks are about, isn't it really? To help formulate new ideas. So I'd be quite keen to at some point in the future attempt these as canvas paintings. The experiments with colour I love to do as well. I need to do a few more of them. It's just something about slathering on the layers of paint and just seeing what you end up with. I really enjoy just playing around with the colours. Quite a few of the pages have a sprinkling of metallic paint. I just love metallic paint, and I love a little bit of sparkle on the page, so why not? So I am utterly embarrassed by this picture that the art prompt was Tolkien. This is what happens when you use felt tips to abandon and they're running out. Let's skip past this one. This one is The Magic Faraway Tree. It was one of my favourite books when I was little. I couldn't figure out how to squeeze in all the characters, and I couldn't remember their order up the tree, but I just thought if I just put some doorways and windows on a big tree with a hint of some steps that you could climb up. But I did put some saucepans on the lower windowsill and a bucket at the top for Dame Washalot's bucket. So these two are my favourites. I think they both reflect the kind of standard I would like all of my sketches to be at. I can't say that they took any longer than the others, but I do conclude that these are the two that I want to show off the most in this crafty update. Yeah, I'm very pleased with them. They're basically, I drew them with the mechanical pencil. I then sketched over with the gel pen, and then I used a wash of acrylic paint because I don't have any watercolours. Again, that's something for a future art and craft challenge, but yeah, I was quite happy with these two. This one I used the watercolour pencil for, the watercolour pencil that I thought was a 4B drawing pencil that goodness me. I thought I should give it a go and use it anyway. Again, I kind of roughly drew everything out with the mechanical pencil, and I spent absolutely ages working on the eyes on both of the characters on this one, and I could not get them right. I think I need to be a bit bolder with the watercolour pencil, so I'll give that a go in a future drawing. So I'm definitely not going to hide any of my bad drawings from you. I'm not a fan of these fake and perfect living videos. I don't feel like they're real. I feel like they raise people's expectations of life to an unrealistic level. Anyway, back to the sketchbook. Yes, so there's been a few cringeworthy pictures at the minute, and I have tried to refocus, and I have tried harder. So there's 50 pages in this sketchbook, so it's going to take a fair while for me to complete, and I will try to do one drawing every day, and I will try to record a full process video of me doing one full page again in the sketchbook, because people seem to like those, so I will do some more. And in my next crafty update I will show you what I've been doing. Do join me again in a couple of weeks to see how I'm progressing with that sketchbook. So my other sketchbook, the new Next Level Neurographic sketchbook, I've also tried to do at least one page a day. And as with my regular sketchbook, I've had a few pages that haven't really worked out very well. But plenty have, so that's good. I've been really aiming for a better finish on the pictures, and I've been trying to take each page to the next level compared to my first Neurographic sketchbook. So that is, I'm trying to make the lines cleaner, the colours smoother, perhaps put in a little bit more thought into trying new patterns and mixing different colours together. So yeah, I'm about halfway through that sketchbook now, and my new pens and my markers that I purchased a couple of weeks ago are all running out. So do expect a craft haul in my next update, because I need to get a few bits and a drawing pencil. So because I've had issues with the pens bleeding through the pages on the underside pages, on every other page in the sketchbook I have put just a cut out piece of paper, and a lot of these pieces of paper have come from my scrap paper pile. I have lots of different coloured papers in all different qualities, and some of the paper is very thin, very smooth, very low GSM, and so anyway I've just stuck those in, and the reason I'm explaining that is because some of the pictures have got a coloured background, and that's on the pages that I've stuck the pieces of paper in. So what I've discovered is ink is only good on cartridge paper. It doesn't like the thinner, cheaper paper. It has a lovely gloss on it, and you can build it up in layers. And I think that when I've finished the bottles and I've rinsed them out, I could use them for mixing up new colours from other inks. We'll give that a go at some point. The fine liner felt tip pens, they are no good on cartridge paper. In fact, all the felt tip pens work better on the cheaper, thinner, smoother paper that I've inserted to hide all the blemishes that come through the paper. And both the felt tip pens and the fine liner felts, they all leave scratchy marks on the cartridge paper and on the cheaper paper, but even though they don't give such a polished result as the marker pens, they are really good for just experimenting with colour and just seeing what colours work together and what combinations. So for the sketchbook, I think using the felt tip pens is fine, and I'm going to be scaling up the designs that I like best and the colours that I like best onto A4 and maybe A3 size paintings and drawings in the future, so I think the felt tips are fine for the sketchbook. The black ink gel pens are good for everything. They're good on all the papers, and they are really my favourites for fine-tuning the corners and for any fine detail work. I haven't tried buying any coloured gel pens yet. I will, because I'm curious to know if they will give the same effect and be enjoyable to use for this neurographic art. The Pro markers, yeah, well, I really do love the block colour that comes from these when they're brand new. The alcohol inks and the water-based permanent markers don't last very long at all, and it's so frustrating because they are so expensive. Now I really do prefer the thick black lines on the page rather than the thinner scratchy lines on the page. And I think in the future I'll try some other brands as well, just to figure out if there is something better out there as an alternative, because the block colour that these Pro markers and the marker pens initially give is beautiful. It really works well on the cartridge paper. I think one of the things that I really like about the neurographic art is the colours. They remind me, or some of them remind me, of mosaic or stained glass even, and I really love both, and I just really love a good colour combination or a colour palette. So I am quite looking forward to experimenting with a range of colour palettes in the future on more of these designs in probably another sketchbook to come. So the designs that have worked really well, I thought I would scale up to a 4 size to show the techniques that I'm using for some more full process videos. So last week I recorded this one, which will be going live soon. I recreated this one in red ink with a black marker pen and a black gel pen. Now I don't think it's possible to recreate any neurographic art precisely, except maybe with a photocopy or a scan, but the techniques and the styles I think are always good to share. So with this one I think it worked better with the coloured paper background. However, I really like it still. I think it's got its own charm even though it looks quite different. So the question had arisen, what to do with all these neurographic pictures I'm doing? Well, in a moment of inspiration, I decided to upload them to Redbubble. Now, if you haven't heard of Redbubble, it's basically a print-on-demand service which is available in most countries, which is really great because you can order it wherever you are and you're only going to be paying local shipping prices rather than international shipping prices. And you can basically have my designs printed on mugs and notebooks and also as art prints and posters. I have had to edit some of the pictures slightly. I've added a border or two and some of them have had a filter on them. I'm happy enough to do that in Photoshop. I don't know if any will actually sell, but it's pretty cool to see your own designs on something tangible. But some of them I'll only be making available as prints due to the image size. So if you do like any of my designs and you'd like a bit of colour in your house, then you can very easily order them and get them printed. I do get a small commission on each item that's produced using my artwork. It's about 10 to 15% depending on what you're ordering. So if you do like any of them, go take a look. I'd be honoured if I sold anything. So yeah, I will put the links for Redbubble in my video description. So yeah, do go take a look. And even if you don't want to buy any, you can just hit the heart button and that's showing your support as well. And I would be very grateful. You can look forward to a few more neurographic videos and I look forward to doing them as well. So craft wise, I didn't do a craft challenge for last Friday. I'm sorry, but there's been an awful lot going on and I've been trying to make sure that I've got enough tutorials set up just to give me a 2-week buffer. So I did the tutorial for the Amy bridesmaid's bouquet. Now that one is my most popular bouquet. I would be making them all the time in all different colours, all different books, all different colours. Yeah, I could make this one in my sleep. So if you'd like to have a go at making the Amy bouquet, do go and take a look at my craft tutorials. So yeah, I've been trying to stack up a few tutorials over the last week because I don't know when my next flare up is going to be, and so for these tutorials over the next few weeks I'm recording them straight off, so the voiceover is happening whilst I'm recording, and this makes them not as polished because I'm not writing out my process. I'm just telling you what I'm doing, so there's a bit of in and ahhing during them. And there's also a little bit of camera glitching, which I would normally be able to edit out, but because I'm doing the voiceover at the same time, I can't separate the audio and the video, or I haven't figured out how to do that yet, and that's a bit of a pain. Oh, I've just had to realise that I think I can do that, so I might try that in the future. So yeah, anyway, I have got a couple in reserve now, so that's made me happy. So yeah, in the run up to Christmas, I've got some literary gifts and some wrapping paper and some tags to show you how to make. I thought I'd line them up in the run up to Christmas because it's a good time to think about making something nice for someone that you care about. So if you don't want to miss out on those, do make sure that you're subscribed, and then once they're live you will find them in your subscriptions list. So that's pretty much it on the arts and craft front for me over the last few weeks. So on a more personal level, let's have a little health update, and whilst I talk about what's been going on with that, I'll show you a little bit more from the woodland walks that we've had over the last few weeks, including one the day after the storm and all the flooding that we had, and I couldn't actually get through the woods completely because it was flooded. Anyway, so I'm afraid there's no fancy camera work in this one. I'm still very much learning how to do this YouTube thing, and still very much learning how to use my camera. So, first of all, the shoulder recovery. I have done my exercises pretty much every day. There was one day where I didn't, but I have a good excuse for that. And I am loving the fact that I can reach up to the top shelf in the cupboard and there's no pain, and even doing things like the ironing, it's just easy to you take it for granted when you can use both your arms, and I've just been so used to adapting to not using my left arm properly, and now it's like it's given me a new lease of life. So yay, I will keep up with the physio exercises, and hopefully that's it now. Hopefully that is my arm fixed. So I had to go to the hospital for some blood tests, and this is them keeping an eye on the hypothyroidism, the Graves' disease, and they're just monitoring me now, and I have to have blood tests every 6 to 8 weeks. So I have to have blood tests every 6 to 8 weeks at the moment, because they want to keep an eye on my thyroid levels and to make sure that they don't rise too high or go too low. They're playing like a balancing act with my thyroid levels at the moment, so adjusting my medication accordingly just to make sure that my thyroid levels are good. So that was one trip to the hospital. The second trip to the hospital, quite excited. The second trip to the hospital, it's quite exciting really. I had another phone call with another cancellation appointment for dermatology. Oh my goodness me, I have been waiting since June I think, to get this fixed. And so what are we now? We're October, so June, July, August, September, October. I've been waiting 5 months to get this thing on my face looked at, and yes, they do think it's autoimmune related. And I was really lucky as well that whilst I was there, and they don't normally do this, they squeezed me in to have a skin biopsy done there and then. And so I'm currently sat here now with some gauze and some steri strips on my face and a very slight tingling, pulling sensation where they've had to put stitches in. But it's good. It's all good. They're sending the sample off to the lab. They're gonna do what these fantastic people in the labs do, and then hopefully they'll be able to tell me what it is. So I don't expect I'll have any news about this thing on my face for another month probably, because it can take up to 4 to 6 weeks to get the results back. But things are moving, things are happening now. I feel like it's been a waiting game for so long, and all I need now is that rheumatology appointment, and ta-da, we should be on the road to recovery. Wouldn't that be nice? So I think that's pretty much it with my health. I mean, I'm still getting tired and I still feel stiff and uncomfortable a lot of the time, but hey ho, let's just do what we can do and try not to make excuses and try not to procrastinate. So So yeah, that is pretty much it. So thank you so much for joining me this week. If this is your first visit, thank you for getting to the end of the video. Do hit the like button. Just show me that you got this far. That would be fantastic. And if there is anything that you would like to not miss out on that I've mentioned, do hit subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for your support. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. And it really does cheer me up to see my little subscribed count increment in the right direction. And it does help motivate me. And it's just great. So thank you so much. Thank you for keeping me company on my crafting and arty adventures. And thank you for keeping me motivated along the way. There will be other videos in the meantime. If you want to see the schedule of those, pop along to my profile and it tells you, and I did detail them all last time as well. But yeah, I will see you again in another 2 weeks for another crafty update. So until then, stay crafty.